What's good, YouTube? Welcome to episode 1 of 7 Days to Die Alpha 19 Beginner's Guide. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to use a pre-gen here just to make sure that if we have to restart, we can restart with the same world. We are early experimental Alpha 19. We're on B154 at the moment, so if they do anything to the random world generation, we're going to actually have to restart our game. So I figure this is probably the safest route here. If you're watching this from the future, don't worry. You're not going to have to worry about all this. They should have everything fixed by then. But the experimental's only been live for a couple days now, so I expect some changes to come up as they find bugs and stuff like that they're fixing. But I wanted to go ahead and get started on this beginner's guide here. So we're just going to leave everything at completely standard settings here, as you see, except for I'm just hiding the game here with the server visibility and max players. So don't worry about that. That way nobody's bothering me while I'm working. We're going to go ahead and get started here, so I'll meet up with you when we get inside. And we are in. So it's going to start out giving us this basic survival quest line, and we're going to go ahead and do the quest line. I always recommend that no matter how seasoned of a player you are, it's probably a good idea to go on and get the quest line done, because it's going to give you the... It's basically going to send you to a trader pretty soon. So just go ahead and start on this quest line. So we're going to have to create a bedroll here. While we're waiting on this, one thing I never really ask in my videos, but I'm going to actually ask this time, is that if you get anything at all out of this series, go ahead and drop a like and drop a comment down below and let me know what you got out of the series, because that will actually help other people pick up the game as well. And basically it helps the YouTube algorithm, and it'll help the video get out to more people, so more people can actually learn to play this wonderful game. The one thing that I've always found about this game is it's a little hard to figure out in the beginning, so I think that a beginner's guide is a really good idea, which is the reason why I do these. But anyway, we're going to move on here. So basically after we drop our bedroll, we're going to go ahead and pick up some wood, and we need a little bit of stone here. So now, we could make something to get the stone to start with, but what we're going to do is we're going to run around and grab some stone off the ground. If you look very carefully on the ground here, you're going to see little pieces of stone. It's a little bit hard to notice in the first place, but, also pick up bird's nest. Any bird's nest you ever see, you want to pick up, especially early game if you're into ranged weapons at all. But basically, yeah, here we go. Here's a little bit of stone here. So we can come over here and pick up small stones instead of having to break up the bigger stones to get them. This is the best way in the very beginning to get what you need for your quest, because it's going to ask you to create a stone axe here, which in turn allows us to pick up more stone. So that's what we're going to do there, and we're going to move on forward. It wants us to get a couple more plant fibers. So I'm going to hit tab here and clear out my bar, just to the things that we absolutely need on the bar. And I'm going to move this into position 1. That's where I like to have that. And we're going to go with just our hands, so hit any of the empty spots there and hit the grass. I don't recommend hitting the grass with a tool in the very beginning, because that actually takes away durability. Used to, you wanted to, because it would give you points and stuff like that for it, but it doesn't really help you now. So we're just going to pick up a bunch of grass here, and we're going to do the plant fiber, plants, and shirt. I always pick up way more grass than I need. I don't know why. It's just, that's my habit. But you don't have to yourself. So then we're just going to click on this, and we're going to hit W to wear. And that's finishing off that next quest. And the next thing it wants us to do is craft a wooden club, which we can do now. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. It would normally tell you to pick up more wood if you haven't gotten it yet. And then we need to gather a little bit more wood. We've got all the plant fibers. We have a feather, and we need a small stone here. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and pick up all that stuff that it tells us to. So it wants us to grab some wood, so we're going to pull out the axe and start beating on a tree here. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and craft our primitive bow. I like to craft up a lot of arrows in the beginning. I've gotten to the point to where I don't necessarily... Well, we only had one small stone, so we're going to have to pick up some more. But I don't necessarily like the bow as much as I used to anymore. I used to talk about the bow and basically want everybody to use, well, wanted myself to use it anyway. But I've gotten to the point to where I'm starting to like melee a little bit more. So I guess that's just the sign of growing as a player. when you change up what you like to do and you learn. But melee seems to be a lot better than it used to be, so that's a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and grab some more stone just in case, though. The arrows are useful if you're trying to sneak attack. That's really about the only time that I'll use them is whenever I'm crawling through a house or something and there's some zombies on the ground and they haven't seen me yet, and then get that nice sneak attack in with the arrow and you can do some major damage there. But we're going to break this whole stone up because we're going to need stone later anyway, so I recommend at least taking an entire stone down in the very, very beginning here before you move any further. Alright, so that stone is done, and now we can go on and finish up the rest of the quests here. It's going to want us to make a wood block, so we're going to do the wood block, put that on our bar here. I'm shift clicking to put it on the bar, by the way, in case you were wondering. Just shift left click and right click to place, and then pick up our stone axe here and right click to upgrade. There we go. If you left click, it'll attack. If you right click, it upgrades with the stone axe, just so you know. That comes in very useful later. And we're going to move forward and do the campfire that it wants us to do real quick. This is one of the reasons why I like to pick up extra stone in the beginning, is because you're still going to need it. You need more than each quest tells you. So we're just going to right click to place that down. It doesn't really matter where we place it down because we're not going to live here. We're moving. I like to live a little bit closer to a trader there because we're going to be doing a lot of questing early game. So I think it's a good idea to just drop it wherever and then move forward. If you want to keep everything cleaner, just drop it in the woods and pick it up when you're done. Just destroy it, basically. But we're going to head over towards this little marker over here, and that's going to take us to our first destination. This is going to be our first trader, which we can do quests at the trader. We can trade for other things and all of that stuff. Now, if you see any of these guys on the way, the stumps here, I recommend picking them up, especially early game, because if you get infected, the honey that you can get from the end of these, let's see, we're going to have to take care of this guy real quick. This also lets me know if you right click here, you're going to do a power attack that'll possibly knock him down and do more damage, but it takes 30 stamina, so be very careful on that one. And let's repair this axe here. So we're just going to hit A to repair and pick up the axe again and pick this up. So you notice how I got some honey here off of that. That jar of honey is really good to cure infection later. When zombies hit you, they have a chance to infect you. And if you pick up honey early, then you've got honey to get rid of the infection as soon as it starts. The infection works a little bit strangely. I kind of like the way it works. The longer you go while infected, the more infected you get and the longer it takes to cure. So just remember that. Be careful with that. And as you see, I'm always picking up these little birds' nests along the way. That way we've got plenty of extra feathers, because if you get a crossbow later, I really like crossbows in this game, by the way. So I like to hold on to them as much as I can. Try not to make too many regular stone arrows early game, unless you really, really like the way that the... Sorry about that. Unless you really like the way that the bow works, which I don't know many people who do. I wouldn't make too many stone arrows in the beginning, just enough to get you through. But hold on to your feathers for crossbow bolts, because crossbows are amazing in this game. I really, really like the crossbows. But okay, so we're gonna head over to this trader here for the quest. It's gonna want us to go in and talk to the trader for the quest, so we need to go around front. Now, these rabbits, I don't know if you just saw the rabbit. There he is. These are another good use for your bow and arrow. If you can get a good shot in, be very careful, because these guys like to run around and they like to disappear, as you see. So I'm just going to hit R to unload my, or to stop the bow, I guess. And it basically, if you've already drawn the weapon and you want to not shoot when it comes to a bow, hitting R will actually cancel the draw, basically. I was trying to think of what to say there. Like, the words just didn't want to come out of my mouth. Okay, so we're going to come through here. The trader will be unlocked during the day, but at, I think it's like 2130 or 2200, I think. He's going to kick us out and basically tell us we can't be here during the night. So, unfortunately, we can't live here. It is unbreakable. Everything in here is unbreakable. And it's a good idea to go ahead and look through, see what we've got in the trader. So I'm just checking the candies that we have and stuff like that. So we've got an extra lock picking success from the candies. These are brand new in Alpha 19, by the way. They're really nice. We've got one that gives plus 50% damage to melee, which I really like those, but we don't have the coins for it yet. And covert cats, let's see, sneak damage extra. Nice. So there's some really nice stuff in those. Keep an eye on them. And make sure when you come through here, always make certain that you close these doors. Because as you see, or hear, the zombies will try to come through anyway. Okay, so apparently that didn't work. That was a wasted arrow. But I'm going to come through here and I'm just going to loot everything in the trader. This is a really good way to get a decent start in the trader. Just remember, nothing's destroyable in here. So anything like this that you would normally be able to pick up, you can't pick up. As you hear, it gives that weird sound. We're just coming through here. There's a couple items such as the destroyed cement mixer here. This could be destroyed or it can be functional. So always check them. And as you see, we got concrete mix. Now these also have the possibility of having anything that's destroyed. You still want to look through no matter what, because they have the possibility of having a schematic inside and anything that you could possibly make out of it. So like painkillers out of this. Interesting. I don't think we can make painkillers, but they're inside the destroyed station. So yeah, just come through here, check everything out. This isn't necessarily going to be the same trader that you guys see. So just make sure you run around, explore the trader station. Yeah, like right here, we got the forge schematic. This is amazing, day one. Sorry if you guys hear the thunder in the background, by the way. It is starting to storm here a little bit. It's midsummer. Okay, so the forge schematic on day one is amazing. This is one of the things that I usually go for to start with. That's if you're into crafting, which if you're playing this game, you probably are into crafting, then that is amazing, day one. That's basically what you need to craft anything in the game, is the forge. So getting that so early and not having to put points into it is really helpful. Let's see. Although you will put points into it before it's over with, just getting the schematic that early is nice. I think that's pretty much it right here. We're just going to have to do these last two things, this workbench here and this guy here. Okay, so I'm hitting the R key, as in reload, in order to auto loot all. That's very helpful, I think. And we've got another building over here we want to clear out before we go into. Let me go take care of this guy. He's kind of annoying me. Okay, he's down. I just don't like hearing the dinging that he's constantly doing there. Alright, so lockpicks, those are good things too. Like if you come up on something later that needs a lockpick, having lockpicks is a very, very nice thing. They don't always work, but we'll get into that whenever we're going to use them. I would hold on to those for like safes and the big ticket items. Let's see, we just got a schematic here for cornbread, nice, and a cooking pot, so that's a really good thing. Cooking pots, you can't cook without them. Okay, so we're just going to continue to go through here and make sure everything's cleared out. They have recently, just in Alpha 19, one of the changes they did is to the lighting. I've noticed it gets a lot darker in buildings and stuff. It's pretty nice. I like the way that works. Used to, it would stay the same lightness no matter what, unless it was nighttime. It would basically go by the sun. I like how they do that. I want to get underground in this series as well, just to see exactly how the lighting works down there. But yeah, just make sure you clear everything here out. That's usually the first thing to do, because it'll also give you things to sell to the trader if you want to go that route. Let's see, I think that might be it for here. Yeah, that should be it for here. And like I said, every trader can be different. There's, I think, 5 different types of traders, or a few different types of traders. I'm not 100% sure what the number is. I've never tried to count them. But just make sure you clear everything out. Some of them have hidden areas and things like that. So now that that's done, we're going to go talk to the trader here. now that we've got a few items to possibly sell and things like that. So we're going to come on in here and make sure there's nothing there. So you notice how he's got this safe here? Well, guess what? We have lockpicks. Let's see if that actually works here. These guys don't react to anything that you do. So if we get lucky and we pick this lock, then we'll be able to get what's inside of the safe. Right in front of the trader. Yeah. And I don't know if we'll get lucky. It looks like we're doing okay now. So now would be the time for it to break. And it actually worked. So good. We got lucky on that. So we're going to open up the gun safe here, grab this stuff out of here, and see if we can reach the... I don't think we can quite reach... Yeah, we can't reach his bookshelf there, but we can the safe. Okay, so we're going to talk to him now. And we're going to ask him to see his inventory before we do anything. Now our quest to the White River Citizen 1 of 1 Journey to Settlement is done. And we're going to just look through here and see if there's anything that we can use right offhand, like armor or weapon or something like that. This one right here, Chemistry Station for 8,000, that's actually a really good find early if you can find enough dukes, which I'm going to show you how to get dukes in just a few seconds. The bicycle is amazing. I think this is what we're going to go after. We're going to try to get this bicycle in the next day or two if we possibly can. So that's what we're aiming for. We want a bicycle. You can make bicycles, but you have to put points into them. So, yeah, we're aiming for the bicycle now. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and sell off all the stuff that we're not necessarily going to use right now. We don't have guns, so we're not too worried about brass. There's tricks to getting brass through the dukes I'll be showing you. I think that still works that way. We're going to find out. But we're just going to sell all this off. So you can either keep hitting W like this, or you can just click this button right here, the fast forward button, and it'll sell all of them that you can. It will not sell all of them because you sell in batches, I think of like 5 or 10 for these, but different items sell in different batch sizes. So we're just selling everything off that we're not going to need right now, such as the brass doorknobs. We're not going to worry about the lead fishing weights or anything like that quite yet. We can pick the lead up off of the ground. And gunpowder... Yeah, we're going to... Well, we can't sell any of that right now. He doesn't want it. And we still got 1 lockpick left. That's nice. I don't know if the lockpick just didn't disappear or what. Now, these knuckle wraps are a weapon. They are a melee weapon, but I don't like unarmed... Or I don't like fist combat, basically. So we're going to sell these. And we are going to... Basically, anything that we picked up that are not necessary for building and things like that's what I'm getting rid of for now. So just think about it. If it's going to be used for building, don't get rid of it. It's hard to say that this early in the game and all of that, but I think you'll figure it out. Now, this flashlight here, this is a lifesaver for me. I don't necessarily say you guys want one, but this is going to help since I'm recording. That way I can still record at night for you guys and you can see what's going on. Okay, so we're done here. And we're just going to go ahead and hit the M button to mark this on our map. This right here is telling you that the trader is talking. That's pretty interesting. I like that. That's new. So we're going to go for a save waypoint here, and we're just going to pick this little trader looking thing here. And we're going to type trader and hit enter. And that will save the trader on our map. So we can always come back. It will show us on our map, or our little compass up here, where it's at. And we can always come back whenever we want. So let's go ahead and close up the door here and take care of this guy who's been annoying us. And now that that's done, we're going to find a place close by that we can take over for the first night. I think, let's see, it doesn't really matter. This right here is going to be a high priority loot target. So I'm going to pick probably a house or something like that to start with. I want a smaller house if at all possible. They're pretty good sized houses here. We could actually, yeah, let's convert this garage over here into a miniature quick shelter for us. That way we don't have to go out and clear out an entire house and all that fun stuff, and we can get started on everything else. Let me go ahead and make some more arrows here because I want to take this guy down. That's not what I wanted. I wanted these. Okay, so we're going to make 24 arrows here, and we're going to go ahead and try to take this guy here down. It would be nice to get him stuck on something because when we attack him, he's coming after us and he can bleed you out pretty quickly. He still didn't see us, or now he does. Okay, good. So it's good to use melee when they get closer to you because you're going to hit harder with melee. Okay, now that we've gotten a couple bones from here, we're going to go ahead and create our first bone shiv. That's the first thing that I recommend whenever you kill an animal in this game is to create a bone shiv and a bone knife immediately. We're going to need 5 bones here, so the sooner the better because you're going to get more out of it if you're using a bone knife than you will if you're using, say, your axe, for example. But meat's kind of hard to come by in this game, so I definitely recommend going ahead and getting animals taken care of as soon as possible. Alright, so that is done, and we're going to go ahead and grab our little melee weapon here and head towards this area. Now, we're going to be clearing out this room in here. There may be zombies up top, which is why I've got my weapon out. And we're going to basically just take this whole section or this whole shed here and fortify it for the night. That way they can't see us. We're probably just going to go upstairs, to be honest. That's all we really need to do for nighttime. There we go. And then they won't be able to attack us. So basically we're going to build a little section on the roof here. There are ways up in most of these things. So if there's a way up or if there's stuff up here, then there should be a way to get up there pretty easily, just like that. So remember, parkour is your friend. And I think we're going to come up here and basically take off the roof of this and flatten it out just a tad. And we're going to build us a quick little base up here with just some storage and a campfire and a place to sleep, basically. So I'm just going to take these down real quick. And once I get these down, I'll be right back with you. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just taken down this top layer, like I guess the peak of the roof here, just a couple, like 4, 5 deep, and just place some wooden frame blocks down here wherever there were holes so we don't fall through. You don't necessarily need to upgrade them. We're not going to stay here very long, so it's not a good idea to necessarily upgrade them. So, and I got some BDUs here, so I'm going to go ahead and replace those because they are better. And we're going to scrap that. Actually, let's cancel that. I want to show you something real quick. So you notice how we've got the cold resist and heat resist here. If we put these on, we notice that these are green numbers. The others were red. So that means that this is going to give you +5 to cold resist and +6 to heat resist over the pants that you're currently wearing. So anytime that you see these, that's when you want to equip. As you see, it drops 5 and 6. So that basically tells us that we're wearing the better piece of gear. Now, that's something that works for every piece of gear in the game, so definitely pay attention to that whenever you're trying to decide whether or not you want to wear something. But we're going to go ahead and drop our bedroll down here. So I'm going to put that, I guess right here would be a good spot for it. And we're going to pick up our campfire and craft one of these. And we're going to drop that right there. And this is basically what we need for a base, but we're also going to want to have some sort of storage here. So let's go ahead and make us a couple storage chests. The early base, I recommend, that's really what matters in the early bases is what we just did here. So some form of storage so we can dump all this mess and go pick more stuff up. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be a better piece of gear there, and we're going to scrap that. And then basically drop all your food, your water, all that fun stuff off, and just carry what you need when you go looting and questing and things like that. So we've got enough arrows made up, so I'm not going to carry any of that stuff with us. I am going to carry, however, a little bit of wood and a little bit of stone. That way we can repair things. And we're just dropping all of this other stuff that we're not necessarily going to use. Okay, that seems to be good. So anything that you don't need, you don't want to carry with you because that's just going to take up space. And actually, let's go ahead and put this guy right here. So if we right click here, it'll place that item. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put that down. That way we've got light out here at night and we don't have to worry too much. We could also use the campfire here. That would work as well, but we're not going to this time. And we're going to go ahead and start on some of these trader quests. So I'm just going to drop on down here and get started on a trader quest. Let's go talk to the trader and get our first quest, because that to me seems to be the best way to level very early game. Let me get rid of this guy because he's going to annoy me if I don't. There you go. And boom. Head on in and take care of getting our quest. So when we go to the trader here, now you see why I like to be so close to the trader, because we're going to basically live out of this place. Let's see. We're going to do, first thing we're going to do, the buried supplies is a lot easier and it's closer than most of them. So we're going to go ahead and do a buried supplies first. We're going to go do a buried supplies first. Sorry for that car. And we're going to need, in order to do that, we're actually going to need a stone shovel. So that means we probably need a little bit of plant fiber. Yeah, we need some plant fiber. So let's go ahead and grab some plant fiber here. This is a digging quest, basically. Okay, that's a little too close to the trader. And now we can create our shovel and equip it and head on over to wherever he wants us to go to pick up his supplies. So that would be back this way. I like to pick the ones that are closer to us to start with and then move further and further out, because by that time you should be done with your 10 quests. By the time you get too far away anyway, you should be done with your 10 quests from that trader and he'll send you to the next trader. So that's what we're going to concentrate on to start with, is doing the quests early game like this, getting a little bit of a base built up. And by day 7, we need to have something that can withstand a horde. So that's going to be our main priority at the moment, is finishing up these quests and doing that. I noticed we've got some corn over here. I'm going to take a side step over here, because corn is kind of hard to find sometimes. If you find corn and potatoes right here, we can actually do what's called meat stew in the game, which is to me, is one of the best foods in the game. Now, if we hit this, we're going to get nothing but grass. Oh, we actually got potatoes off the dead corn plants. Oh, wait, no, that's me being dumb. Okay, so we're just going to hit the regular corn plants here. We're not going to worry about the ones that are just going to give us dead grass. And we can plant these later. I'm going to pick up these blueberries too. I never really use them for anything, but we're going to pick them up anyway. And head on over towards our quest. And I'm killing any zombies that I see along the way, not only because they'll annoy us while we're trying to dig, but they also give experience. Okay, I hear you. Oh, big boy. And experience is how you get better in the game. I love the new leveling system. The way it's working out now is so nice. Now, you notice we have to knock these guys down twice. That's something they added back in Alpha 18, I believe it was, with some of the changes where you have to knock them down. The first time you knock them down, they're not dead. Be careful, unless you one-shot them. But you'll see down on the lower right-hand corner that you get experience when they die. So that's the indication you want to look for to see if you actually one-shotted them or not. All right, so let's go ahead and get out our shovel here. Now, we generally want to be in the center of this circle here. So try to find the center if you can and start digging down. I did find out that it's not necessarily 2 deep this time. It can be 3 deep. I did find out when I was making a video the other day. But sometimes you get lucky and you'll be right on top of it. The more you dig here, the smaller this circle's going to get. So if you can't find it initially, it's going to basically guide you towards it as you dig more and more. So I'm just going to dig out a little hole here and drop down in the hole. And then start digging, interestingly enough, underneath the ground here. That way, this is the way to clear out more ground quicker. They've just recently added this in the Alpha 19 as well, to where things will collapse above you. Used to, ground had a structural stability to it until you got it too big and then it would collapse. And we used to use that for different ways to dig underneath the ground pretty effectively. However, it's changed, and I still find it pretty easy to dig this way. In fact, I like the new change for it. It just makes things quicker if you're trying to dig a pit. So you can use it to your advantage. That's a change I don't really mind. But we're going to go ahead and just continue to dig here. And as we dig further or more and more out, it's going to basically make this circle smaller and smaller around where the item can be until we finally find the item. Now, if you're coming over from Alpha 18, in Alpha 18, basically it would be directly in the center of that area, but it's not necessarily now. It can actually be a little further out than the center, so that's one of the reasons I think that they did the circle the way they did. And when you hear that sound right there that you just heard, the little cling of coins, that tells you you're getting closer, and that means that it's going to make your circle smaller. So just remember that. That's what you want to hear. And just keep digging. Okay, so we need to repair this item. These quests did seem a little too easy compared to the rest of them in the past, so I'm kind of glad that they made it a little bit harder here. And we're going to hurry up and try to get this quest done and turned in before nightfall, but I don't think we're going to. I say dig about 3 down. That's probably the safest thing to do now. It used to be 2. I think 3. I did have an item that was 3 down the other day when I was testing all this stuff out for this series. And it used to be 2, but now I think it's 3. So make sure you dig about 3 down to start with, and then dig outward from there until you find the item. Also, if you have not purchased this game yet and you're thinking about it, I definitely recommend buying it. I paid about $10 when I bought this one a few years back, and I've gotten over 2,700 hours out of it, if that tells you anything. It's a really good game. I definitely recommend buying it, and they're constantly updating it and trying to make it better and trying to get it ready for their beta release coming up soon, hopefully. But I think they're getting pretty close to it. It's definitely worth getting, in my opinion. If you like building games, you like survival games, I mean, it's got a little bit of everything in it. It's got building, it's got survival, it's got vehicles, it's got combat, it's got pretty much everything in it, and you can't go wrong with it. Let's just say that. And on that note, if you are here when I release the video, if you're in on the first few days, I believe they're still doing a Steam sale. I know they were the other day, but I think their Steam sale is still going because of the Alpha 19 release. So check into that. I'll leave a link down in the description below. But if that's not there, sometimes you can get a discount through Humble as well. I do make a small commission if you use Humble as well, and it would help out quite a bit, along with the fact that you'll be helping out a very good charity, which would be Ronald McDonald House of Durham, North Carolina. I use that charity because that's one that my nephew used. He's an amazing kid. Well, I wouldn't call him kid. He's like 20-something now. But yeah, he had cancer when he was younger. I think 11, if I remember correctly. And they helped him through it a lot. They did a lot to help him out. So I definitely recommend putting money into that charity if you get the chance. But yeah, basically if you buy it off of Humble through my link here, I'll actually make a small commission, and so will the charity. So if it's not on sale on Steam, please use that link. But if it is on sale on Steam, absolutely buy it off of Steam. Okay, so apparently it's a little further down than 3. That's interesting. We've got it narrowed down to one very small section here. I'm kind of glad that it took me a while to find this so I could show this off to you guys. This is one of the new changes here, and I'm really liking the way that this works. It'll take out a lot of the guesswork that you used to have. Because if you couldn't find something, then, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's pretty deep down in there. Now, the first thing we want to do is make sure we've got us a safe way out of here. There's a reason for that. So we're just going to dig our way out before we pick anything up out of it. As soon as we go to pick up anything out of this chest, or once we close the chest, basically, we're going to spawn zombies. So we need a pretty quick way out of there. So we're just going to go ahead and search this up, and we're going to pick up all this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and use the recipes. I always use recipes in the very beginning until you know all of them, and then sell off the recipes after that. No matter what it is, it can be useful later, so you might as well use the recipe the first time you see it, right? Okay, so yeah, we spawned a few zombies. I'm going to take care of these guys before we head back to the trader. That's free experience, which is one of the reasons why we're doing these quests. And, oh, I've suffered an abrasion. Okay, so they hit my knee somehow. Interesting. And I am infected. This is a good thing, actually, because that way I get to show you how to use the honey to fix your infection. But we're just going to finish these guys off. And they seem to be hitting a little strangely here. I've got to get used to the new way that they're hitting. There we go. So once you've knocked them down twice, you're pretty sure that they're dead. And you can always check down and check your experience bar or your experience down at the bottom and see if it went up. If it did, then they're dead. So we're going to head on back to the trader here with the new stuff and turn that in if we get the chance. I don't think we're going to make it back in time. So we're basically going to have to wait out the night before we can turn the quest in. And I'll show you why in just a second once we get there. Yeah, it's nighttime, so 2,200 hours. First off, these zombies can run, so we're going to try to stay away from them if we can at the moment, because we have a bum knee and an infection, so we're going to take care of that shortly. But I just want to show you what happens with the trader here. So now that it's closed, if you walk up to it, it's going to teleport you to a random spot here. So it keeps you out at night. You cannot live inside of the trader, which is a good thing, actually. That would be just too easy because it's undefeated or unbreakable. So you could just sit out a horde night there if that was the case. Some mods do open it up to where you can live inside of the trader. However, they also make it to where they're no longer unbreakable, which I kind of like. Ooh, I fell down. Let's go ahead and pick this up, and apparently I didn't loot everything. And head back up here to the top where we've got our little base going here. So now we have some light here. What I like to do the first night is gather. I like to go mining and things like that the first few nights in order to help us out in the future. So I'm just going to drop off all the food and stuff here, all the clay soil, all that stuff. Now the clay soil I definitely recommend holding on to because you can use that for building later. We don't need feathers, and I think that's pretty much all that we absolutely need. Let's go ahead and use this honey here. So we're infected here, as you see, 0.8%. So eating this honey right here is going to basically give us a buff right here. Treated mild infection that will treat the mild infection. So as long as we continue medication long enough to get rid of the infection, so you notice it goes down as this happens. So it's a time thing. You don't immediately get rid of the infection. You have to fight it off. And the honey basically helps you fight it off. If you don't treat it, it goes up. If you do treat it, it goes down. And the longer it's going up, the longer it takes to go down. So I really like the way that works out. And we've got an abrasion for 26 more minutes here. Bumps and bruises. Okay, so it lowers our max health by 5.6 and our healing speed by 100%. So that's how those work. You can get different debuffs and stuff from the zombies, and they will affect your ability to heal. And basically, you just have to wait for the time to go and get rid of it. That's why you don't want to get hit. It's pretty nice. I like that change. That's a brand new change. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I hit N to go into my skill tree, and we're going to pick some skills here. Now, what we're going to be using the most is Lucky Looter to start with. I recommend always putting a point into Lucky Looter in the very beginning of the game. That just gives you better loot. Who doesn't want better loot? I'm going to go for, since we're going to be doing work overnight, I'm going to go for Miner 69er and Motherlode as well. I would normally put a point into getting my forge ready as soon as possible, but we already got the ability to make the forge, so I'm not too worried about that. And healing factor. Healing factor is going to be a very, very good thing, especially early game. This fast metabolism allows you to gain health every 1 point every 90 seconds with natural healing. So as you play the game and you're not being attacked and not losing health and stuff, you're naturally healing back up. Without at least 1 point in fast metabolism, your health will stay exactly where it's at. So just remember that. According to how you want to play the game, if you want to do that one or not. Iron Gut's also a good one early game. This will keep you from getting sick if you eat bad food and things like that over time. But I don't know if we're going to put anything into that. Let me think about what we want to do in this series, and then I'll figure out exactly what we should do points-wise. We're going to be doing a lot of quests here, so we might as well get better rewards for doing the quests. And 5% more dukes, that's going to be really, really good. So we're going to take that last, well, we're out of points. So our next point, I think, should go into looter here for the daring adventurer. And then we're going to come down here into the building because we're kind of hidden away here. And we're just going to start digging down. Actually, we can't, can we? Is this yeah, that's not concrete. Good. We're just going to start digging down in here and working on skills at night. The first few nights, this is what I like to do. Oh, that is concrete, isn't it? I like to dig the first few nights just to give myself something to do overnight without having to run around, gaining experience. As you see, every time that we hit the ground, we're gaining experience, and it'll also get us good things for building. Now, we're not going to do an underground base quite yet. I will cover underground bases, but a lot of people don't like them. They think they're kind of cheesy. Let's see. We don't have a lot of wood here, so let's go ahead and take down this tree and hit control to go into stealth mode, and watch your stealth bar there because these zombies can see you at night. There we go. And let's see. Can I make... I don't think I can. No, I can't make a torch. What do I need? I need animal fat, cloth, fragment, and wood. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a couple torches. We've got everything that we need up here, I think, for a couple of them. And that way we can see down in our pit at night. I'm basically just trying to gather stone down underground here. If you don't want to go out looting and stuff the first night, the main reason I'm not going looting is because I don't have an easy way for you guys to see. But as soon as we can get a mining helmet, we'll be going out looting at night. But until you do that, I definitely recommend using your time effectively here and just going out and digging for the time being. Because that gives you experience, it gives you materials for building later, and all of that stuff. Now, I'm probably going to end the episode here as soon as daytime happens. I want to keep these episodes down to about a day each. That way, an in-game day each. That way, you guys can keep up with me pretty well. I have a tendency to go pretty far on them, and I don't want to make them too long for you guys. All right, so let's go for opening this up just a tad. So you can go straight down, but the problem with that is it's hard to get out. So I like to make about 2 wide here. I'm going to show you some tricks later to make better mine shafts and things like that. I just want to try to get up. Okay, there we go. There's a spot that we can put one down. And then we can take down below this. And as long as we have a line of sight from that, we can see what's going on here. So if you do 2 wide like this is probably your best bet. That way you can put a ladder up and you can put your stuff up as you need. And we are thirsty. So let's go ahead and do just that. I'm going to put the ladders up. So we're going to have to make a few ladders. Now, the thing is, if you're going to be digging down at night or just in general, always make sure you have enough wood to make ladders to get out. Otherwise, you're stuck down there and it just makes for a really bad day. So always, 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 as you dig, if you're going down, make sure you've got a way out. And we're just going to place one there and one there and one there. And that way, we can just climb right on out of here. and go grab some water. I should have brought water with me. That was me being a bad player. Sorry about that. Let's see. You don't really need a lot of inventory space when you're digging like that anyway, so it's not that big of a deal if you bring extra stuff with you. Just be safe. Be smart. And for some reason, I can't get up there. What's up with that? There we go. Now we're going to come over here and we're just going to grab some water out of here. Unfortunately, I don't have any bottled, like real good water, so we're just going to drink regular water here. And we're going to put this in our inventory too. You heal slower if you're thirsty and all that fun stuff. And your stamina recovers slower and all of that too. So we're just going to keep digging down here for the rest of the night. And I'm just going to keep digging and I will catch up with you at daytime. Okay, so this is actually a good place to show you. We have reached the stone layer now. So we actually have to switch out from our shovel into our axe. So this will give us plenty of stone. This is why we want to dig, actually, is for the stone, because we can use that for concrete. We can use that for, we can use the clay. Ooh. I hear somebody. And we're not exactly safe down here, so pay very close attention to what's going on whenever you're out here doing this. Let's go ahead and add in some stairs so we can get out. I haven't made it secure at all in the least, so that's why I'm a little bit worried about this guy moving around out here. If this happens and you don't want to fight them, then I recommend just going back upstairs and waiting that out. But I'm looking around for him, so yeah, there's two of them out here. See, this would be a good use for our ranged weapon here. If we're far enough away and he can't see us, we can actually kill him without him seeing us. Okay, that wasn't a kill. Yeah, that was a kill. One shot. Okay, good headshot. Hopefully you guys were able to see that. And we've got another nursie over here, so we're going to take her down as well. Shooting at night is kind of hard. You guys see it just as well as I do right now. Which I kind of like the fact that they got rid of the whole gamma cheat that you could do at night. But it just makes it a little bit harder. There we go. Makes it a little bit harder for me as a YouTuber, but I'll deal with it. And that was not a kill shot. As you see, they run at night. There we go. So you want to be careful about how you kill them because they can outrun you at night. Just remember that. Pull them in with range shots is probably the smartest thing to do. So we've cleared out the area again, and we can go back to what we were doing here. It's 2:52 in the morning, so we're almost done, but let's go ahead and repair this so we can move forward. And yeah, basically get up as much stone and stuff like that as you can at night. That's the key for the first couple nights here. This is really tedious, by the way, and I need food as well. So let me hop up and grab. Okay, so we had some sham chowder. As you see, that gives you lots of buffs over here. It gives you an agility buff. It gives you food, water, and improves your health here. So definitely, if you get the chance to make some sham chowder, absolutely do. There's certain foods in the game that give you different buffs and stuff, so pay attention to that. If you want me to, I can try to come up with a list for a future episode that we can just basically go over the different foods and all of that stuff and figure out what works best and what doesn't work best now. If you want to see that, just drop a comment down below and we will get started on making a food buff episode. Okay, so we got our first point down here. We've just leveled up. So if you remember, I said I wanted to put some points into the daring adventurer looter here. That way we get extra choices for quest rewards and 5% more dukes. As you see, each one of these gives you a different thing. So we can get 2 additional choices for 2 points, 3 additional choices for 3 points, and at 4 points, we get to choose 2 quest rewards and get 20% more dukes. So these are definitely worth it if you're going to be questing like I am early game. I recommend always questing early game. That's just my personal opinion though. I like the way that the quests work out. It's a good source of experience. It's a good source of loot. It's going to require you to go in and kill zombies. It's going to require you to move around. You're going to do some exploring and stuff like that. So absolutely recommend doing questing early game. I do really like the way that they've got the quests working now. And it's also going to, once you do 10 quests from one trader, it's going to send you to a new trader. And basically, if you do, I believe it's 50 quests total, it should send you to all 5 of the traders on the map, which is amazing because that keeps you from having to run around and find new traders and all of that. The more traders you have open, the better off you are, because if you're looking for a specific item, then you'll have a better chance of finding it if you hit more than one trader, because each trader has a different inventory. So, okay, so we got some coal here, which we're going to need later. And in fact, that would be a good fuel source for now. So I'm going to show you this real quick. We can't get into the trader yet. I think it's like 6 a.m. that it opens. So we're just going to have to wait that out for a few minutes. But also, if you see these rocks above the ground of coal or iron or anything like that, that's going to give you a node that has all of the stuff underneath it. So like there's going to be a coal vein down here. By beating this stone here, picking it up, I'm going to show you directly below it. Notice there's coal directly below it. So we can actually follow this vein and pick up pure coal along the way. This is a good way if you're looking for a specific resource. This is the best way to find it, is start above ground and follow the nodes. But we're basically just going to do this. I'm going to pick up some of this coal along the way while we're waiting on the trader to unlock. And once it unlocks, we're going to go turn in our quest. And I'm also going to mark this area. In fact, let's do that now. If you dig out an area, a box around it like this, I'll show you. I'm going to create like a mine shaft, basically, that's got a hatch on top of it that we can go down the hatch whenever we want coal. This is what I recommend doing with all of your mines to start with. It'll give you a somewhat safe place to work. It's you want to break out a 3x3 area like this to start with. So digging a 3x3 hole 1 deep here is how you make these mine shafts. But we're basically going to put a ground level mine shaft that we can go down in. So as soon as I get this dug out, I'll get back with you. Okay, so now that I got this dug out, you notice I'm just making a circle around the outside and leaving one of these blocks open here. That way we can dig straight down and we can put a hatch and ladder system in here. So let's go ahead and put our first ladder up. I think we're going to use the ladders here. And then we can put a hatch directly on top of that. So let's go ahead and make a... Oops, I hit the wrong button there. Sorry, my fault. Don't hit G. I'm used to hitting G for something else. So let's go ahead and put a hatch up here. G will throw the item that's currently in your hand, by the way. Ow. Okay, so Trader Joel's is open. That's perfect timing, actually, because we're about to drop this hatch down here. So we're just going to put a hatch here. I recommend opening it up to where, spinning it around to where it opens. You see this hinge back here, right in the back here? I definitely recommend putting that hinge directly on top of the ladder instead of across from it, because if you do that, then when you open it, basically it's easier to get to the ladder and get off of the ladder. So that's the way to do that. So we've got a little bit of a hatch down here, and we'll get back to that later. But as of now, let me go ahead and take care of this little guy here. Free food is free food, right? They seem to have increased the amount of animals for Alpha 19 as well. That's good. So getting these sneak shots in on them, if you can hide from them and they can't see you, then you can get the sneak shots in. Getting the sneak shots is the best way to do it. It does double to more than that damage. Like, you can put points and stuff into the sneak shots, which I recommend if you like stealthy play. That's the good thing about this game, is you can play it however you want. All right, so he is taken care of, and now let's run over to the trader here, and we can turn in our first quest and get a new one.
Welcome, survivor. Feel free to look around. Here is your reward.
All right, so we get the chance between Blitz Defense Challenge. Absolutely not. Let's see, what's that? Strange note I found while looting. It's from the Crazy Jake clan. So what these are is these are going to give you a challenge that you want to complete. And if you complete it, you get items and stuff from it. And I don't recommend it first early game like this. We can use the herbal antibiotics. Like I said, you're going to get infected. So I'm going to go ahead and pick those up. And then we're going to ask him again if he's got any jobs. And I'm just going to choose the one that's closest to us for the next episode. That's what we'll start the next episode with. And we've got a fetch quest to do. All right, that works. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Like I said, I want to leave them down to about 1 a day. And also, if you're new here and you haven't yet, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, because I release videos daily on not just 7 Days to Die, but other games as well. Mostly building games, so I think you'll enjoy that. Things like Space Engineers, No Man's Sky, Empyrean, Galactic Survival. We're even working on City Skylines playthrough at the moment. A bunch of different building games. So if you're interested in building games, definitely hit subscribe and hit the bell notification to be alerted when new videos go live. At least 1 video a day, sometimes more. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. If you haven't already, please drop a like to let me know that you did. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, click one of the videos on your screen now. Thank you. Have a nice day.